If you go to the chiropractor, then you're going to want to watch this video. It could very well save your life. If you've been around for a while, you've noticed in my videos sometimes I have to pause and actually work hard to think of words. And this is because I have a condition called aphasia, which was caused from a stroke, which was caused from going to the chiropractor. At the back of your neck, you have two vertebral arteries that wrap around your spine and go up into the base of your skull. You're probably like, get on with it, lady, just tell us the fucking story. Well, in 2015, I was signing in to take my national registry to become a paramedic and do my psychomotor exam, and all of a sudden, I lost my vision, I got super dizzy, and my eyes started bouncing back and forth. I'll show you a video of that. I went to the ER that night, and they did a bunch of scans and tests, asked me if I was on drugs, and they sent me on my way. They said it's a negative finding. You go to the chiropractor and they manipulate your neck, and they turn it to the side and they crack. They turn it to the side and they crack. This vein gets twisted because of the way it's torqued, and it cracks the internal lining of the artery. I was sent home from the ER, negative findings. I continued to be blind for 4 days. Eventually I was able to gain my balance, but I still had neurological symptoms. So I went to my primary doctor at the time, and she said she didn't find anything wrong either. They thought I had Lyme disease, which turns out I didn't. So again, I didn't have any answers, so I didn't think much of it. And I went home, and I was unable to work at the fire station, obviously, because I couldn't see. And I really was in kind of bad shape, both mentally and physically. But 2 weeks later, I was at a drive-in movie with my family, and I felt a pop in the back of my neck, and lights out. But this time, my husband asked what was wrong, because I immediately started gagging because I was so violently dizzy. My husband asked what was wrong, and when I tried to answer him, I couldn't talk either. I tried to reach up and touch my mouth, and I realized that my left arm had pinned itself up against my chest. And when I went to touch my face with my right arm, I felt drool coming out of my mouth, and I was like, fuck. So, needless to say, we busted ass to the ER, which was right down the road, and I could think completely clearly. I just could not communicate. So if you're ever around someone having a stroke, talk to them like they can hear you, because they can, or I could anyways. So we get to the ER, they do an exam. Again, negative findings, no one could see anything. They kept me overnight because my husband was like, something is wrong, we don't know what's going on with her, and obviously this is not normal for a 29-year-old female. So I was going to make this long story short. That's not working out to be that way, but it's kind of a long story, and I think you need to hear it. So the very next day, a hospitalist came in, and he literally saved my life. He called my insurance company and said, I need to do more scans on this girl, fully expecting to find MS. But when he did the MRI, he found what he called was a starburst stroke, which means both of those vertebral arteries have been dissected and have been throwing clots up in the back of my head, and they look like a starburst, and you could see them on the scan. And if I have a picture, I will include it. But it looked like little BBs in the back of my head. The story just keeps getting longer. Anyways, so what had happened the night before was one of those arteries in the base of my head had ripped out. That pop was it ripping out, and the base of my head was full of blood. But unfortunately, there wasn't anything they could do other than to transfer me to a different hospital where they could monitor me and put me on blood thinners, which is exactly what they did. A group online and started talking to other stroke survivors that had the same injury that I did, the vertebral artery dissection, and a lot of them weren't so lucky. So I'm pretty sympathetic to stroke victims. The only thing that I came out with was I have aphasia. Obviously, I can't think of words. I play stroke charades whenever I teach or am around people that I don't know. I'm like, I'm okay. I mean, like, not really okay, like mentally probably, but I'm okay physically. And I also have some numbness, like on the side of my face, my pinky down the side of my left arm, and I can't feel my left leg, which is weird because I can still walk on it just fine. But if I touch it, it feels like it's somebody else's leg. I don't know how to describe it. It's really weird. And every now and then I'll like derp my foot and biff it. And I'm like, again, I'm fine, sort of. So the point of this video is just tell you that I was a perfectly healthy 29-year-old, and I went to the chiropractor and I almost died. It was a pretty scary situation, and I'm just sharing that with you so that if you go to the chiropractor and you get your neck manipulated, this is absolutely something that could change your life forever. But as always, I would encourage you to do your own research and look into this. There are other things that can cause vertebral artery dissections. Those things are accidents, but this is one that you could absolutely avoid. I hope it helps.